The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey everybody, CammieBaker.com, Happiness Jungle TV show. We are happy, and it is a jungle, but that's okay because we have wonderful guests like Judi Farr. Judi Farr has been a friend of mine for several years, knew her in the real estate industry, and here we are, 15, 20 years later.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. Still friends, still collaborating and doing fun stuff out in the world. Visionary entrepreneur that you are. Been an entrepreneur for 35 years, you told me.
Actually, 35 plus years.
35 plus years. So tell us a little bit about your story, Judi. What do you want us to know?
Oh, Lord. When I was in, it probably started when I was in grammar school, because we used to have, back in the day, those little March of Dimes cans that you would have with the flowers and whatever, and I was such an entrepreneur that I would fill 2 or 3 or 4 of those by the end of the day. I lived in Manchester and would go downtown, and everybody that went by, I would hand a little flower and they'd give me money, and I always won the prizes. So it was always about the reward. It was always about the prize at the end. So
what kind of rewards were you winning?
Oh, let's see. Sometimes it was cash. Sometimes it was a bicycle. Sometimes it was, just almost anything. So it was kind of neat. That was, I think, probably the beginning of my professional entrepreneurship, because I always figured out, how can I get if I do?
Right?
So.
Well, that's just yet one more thing we have in common. When I was a kid, I was selling gum when I was 8 years old to other kids. And then when I made some profit, I started loan sharking money out and holding collateral for high interest.
Did you do people's homework too?
No. I didn't do people's homework. I was just making money. But I can't, sometimes people say to me, how did you even think about that? How did that even come to your mind? And I think, how could you not?
I know, it just seems so natural.
It does.
It
does.
Seems natural.
So what was your next first business?
Oh, Lord. So through the years, I have been in several of the home party plans and Tupperware. I became a manager, got a van, again, free stuff, as well as the monetary value of it.
Nice.
But it just seemed like things presented themselves, and when it just fit with me or my personality, then I would just go ahead and do what I wanted to do. So a couple of years back, actually, Lord, back in 13 years ago. It's 2018 now, so you do the math. But I think it was the end of 2006, 2007. My husband and I actually began building a home. And it was an energy efficient home because I was getting up there in age, he was getting up there in age, and we didn't want to do any maintenance. And so we actually have an all electric home. Now we have solar panels on that all electric home, so it's a wonderful thing. For $19 a month, I have all of my electricity paid for.
Get out. That's cool.
Yeah. So I think I can handle that when I get to be to the point where, I'm down the road and I'm having to make the decision between medication and electricity. I think I can handle that one.
Well, good Lord, I hope you're not hoping that that Social Security will take care of you, because that definitely won't. So was your family entrepreneurial? Did you come from a background of that?
My dad, good question. My dad was actually a contractor. He had his own construction business, and then he was a realtor. He was in commercial industrial real estate. And back in the day, back in the 60s and 70s, I said, I will never, underscore never, become a realtor, because it was either feast or famine. We either had steaks on the barbecue or we had Welsh rabbit. And for those of you that don't know what Welsh rabbit is, it's saltine crackers with cheese whiz.
Okay. That is broke.
So that is broke. So it was one or the other. Most of the time we had hamburger. We could at least get that on the table. But I came from a large family. So yeah, and then during high school, I had several jobs because I helped take care of the family, contributed to the family in the household. And after I got out of high school, ended up getting married, and then started my entrepreneurial journey with different things to help supplemental income.
Including the real estate.
And the real estate happened because of the house that we built. And that was really kind of interesting because I thought, I want this green technology that's in the homes. I want to be able to have everybody have it. So there was this passion behind it. Became a realtor because I didn't have enough money to become a developer. And so I started into real estate with a green designation and specialty. And over the years, I've helped numerous families buy and sell homes, just regular everyday average homes, apartments. And I love doing that because I love helping people. And I also felt that need to teach because I was supposed to be a teacher when I graduated from college and never finished college. And so I started to teach in my real estate office, and then the technology skills because I was good at that. And then I developed into solar and had credited courses for green that I've taught the realtors. So that kind of fulfilled that thing for me.
Well, it sounds to me like most of your businesses start from your passion.
Yes.
Because I know what you're doing now with your philanthropy and with your business is all about passion. So tell us a little bit about your current business that you have.
So my current business, actually a friend of mine shared with me a couple of years back, the end of 2015, the difference between marijuana and hemp. So I really didn't understand the cannabis industry. I really hadn't gotten into that part of my world. And I never knew that hemp and marijuana were related, except that marijuana is about the high and hemp is about the healthy. So once I learned that, it was almost, I felt a moral and ethical obligation, I guess, to teach people the difference.
Even now that I know a little bit more about it from hanging out with you a little bit, every time you say hemp, I still just think about hemp ropes. Why did they use hemp for something like the fiber for ropes as opposed to the healthy aspect of it for so many years? Because this is a relatively new discovery, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not. Actually, hemp for health goes back to the early Chinese days in the 1600s. Here in the U.S., the settlers actually brought industrial hemp to the U.S. and we planted it and we paid our taxes with hemp. So every farmer was required to actually produce a certain amount of hemp on their property, pay taxes with it because it has 50,000 uses. So anything that petroleum can do, hemp can do.
Really?
Yeah. So that's quite a bit if you think about what's, plastics, but the difference is that it's all biodegradable. So as it becomes in the mainstream again here in the U.S., then I think that our whole economy and the whole way that we're doing things, the sustainability of the United States is going to change. So it may take a couple of decades, but more and more are going to begin. In fact, in the early 1940s, Henry Ford built a hemp car, a car totally out of hemp, and it ran on hemp biofuels.
Well, in the 70s, Cheech and Chong built a van out of marijuana. So the hemp car, the marijuana car,
what can I say?
So I know, with marijuana becoming so prevalent and states are starting to make it legal, it sounds to me like hemp is an even better industry because you got 50,000 uses for that.
It is, and hemp is grown. It's called industrial hemp.
And it grows fast, doesn't it?
It does. It takes 12 weeks for maturity, but there are hundreds and hundreds of different what they call cultivars of the hemp plant. So some are grown to make hemp flour. Some are used for hemp protein. Some are used for hemp seeds.
Wow.
So there's different ones. The company I work with grows one that is high in CBD oil. So when it's harvested out of the stem, then that, along with other things that we use with the product, help you to be more healthy and sustain a much better life.
Well, I can see why people want to have you come in and educate them because you know a lot about this.
I do, and it's all because of the passion. It's all because of the passion. And I love teaching others and then having the ability for them to teach others. Because I'm one little stone in the river, but if I can teach a lot of other little stones, then the ripple effect that we're going to have when we're thrown is a whole lot bigger.
Well, speaking of the little stones, with some of the cause marketing campaigns I'm doing with kids, especially with the Finding the Sharks and the children entrepreneurs, I'd love to see you teach in a class to teach them about all the different businesses. I mean, if hemp is biodegradable and it can replace toxic stuff that's going into, wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and President Trump, I think it's on his desk or almost on his desk now, the 2018 Farm Bill, which will make hemp actually legal in the U.S. again. Back in the late 1930s, it was taken, we had the Marijuana Tax Act, so it was actually taken out of our food chain and out of our medicinal chain. And then in the 1970s, it was put on the Schedule I drug list along with marijuana. And
out of sheer ignorance.
Out of sheer ignorance. It just kind of got clumped in by mistake, and it's sad. But, and then the rest of the world followed. Because if the U.S. had it outlawed, then they should have it outlawed. So it was kind of a ripple effect globally. And now we're getting that ripple effect undone. So it's actually the ending of cannabis prohibition. So it's very, very exciting.
So with all the uses of hemp, the one CBD oil, tell us a little bit about that, because there's all kinds of health benefits with that.
There are. So I'm not a doctor, not a physician, so I can't make health claims. But CBD, cannabidiol, is the actual name for CBD. So CBD is the shorter acronym. That works with your immune system. It works with your mood. It works with all sorts of things. There's a system in our body that's called the endogenous cannabinoid system, the ECS. And because of that system that's in all of our bodies, then it works to help us reach homeostasis. So what is going on in your body and what's going on in my body are two different things. But CBD tends to know, because it works with your own body, what needs to be corrected to make Cami Baker even better than she is now.
Well, the new and improved version of Cami Baker.
I know.
So how would Cami Baker ingest said CBD? Is it really an oil that you put on or that you take? Like, what is it?
So it's actually extracted from the stalk of the hemp plant. So it gets to be kind of a paste. And then we take that paste and then we create other products from that paste. And ours is a full spectrum. So what that basically means is everything that was in that stalk comes out. So the chlorophyll, the plant waxes, the terpenes, all of the different parts and all of the different cannabinoids that are in there. And all of those work synergistically. We have the paste, which is a higher serving size than other products. We have some that are capsules because people like capsules and they're easy to carry, they're easy to ingest. We have it in an oil, and we have a shelf-stable in MCT oil, which is basically coconut oil. But that way you can leave it on the counter and not have to refrigerate it, and it's good from day to day. So it's got all sorts of things. We actually have a vape. So for people that have situational episodes of different things, their mood, that type of thing, they can actually vape. It's in an MCT oil, so it's not harmful to your lungs as well.
And you sell it yourself. You've got people that sell it in their stores, smoke shops, head shops, all kinds of places.
Yeah, I have. As a distributor for the company that I work with, I can actually distribute to individuals like yourself, or I can you can order on my website, or you can meet up with me and we can try and sample the products, or I can start. I have a couple of retail locations. I have a couple of doctors' offices, chiropractors that I'm now working with. So yes, anybody can do it. So if someone has the desire to get into the cannabis industry, but not the high side of the cannabis industry, but the healthy side, then I can help them introduce this product to their clients and patients.
Get healthy, not high.
All the time.
And one of the products is actually good for animals.
Yes, so it's the CBD oil, and THC is very, very lethal to animals. They have hundreds more receptors in their little bodies than we have in ours. So a little bit of CBD goes a long way with an animal. So we have pet chews. We also have the little dog treats. We have an oil, and the oil is great because there's no taste and no odor. So if anybody's ever had a cat, you know that if it smells anywhere near 20 minutes old when that food's in the dish, they're not going for it. Well, this has no taste and no odor. So you can put it in with the animal food and the cat will be able to have it. Horse is the same way. So it's good for all mammals.
I'm impressed with your extensive knowledge.
Thank you.
In this area. And speaking of animals, tell us about Friends of Laddie.
Friends of Laddie is a pet project of mine, and it started out in June of 2018. I lost, or my husband and I lost, our 9-year-old English setter dog, and he had a heart problem. So one minute he was great, and the next minute he was gone. So it was very devastating. So I decided that because we'd lost him, and even though we have a brand new puppy that is wonderful, I didn't want to forget Laddie. And Laddie was part of the community. We live across from a ball field, so the kids all knew Laddie. Everybody,
Everybody was friends of Laddie.
Everybody was friends of Laddie, whether they would just talk to him when they were walking down the road or they'd see him in the car when we had him out. He was a very social dog. And so we decided that we didn't want to have him be forgotten. And so I created an event that is actually a dog-friendly, kid-friendly, family-friendly event. And it's in Wilton, New Hampshire. And we're having pet photo contests and a pet parade. So you bring your dog dressed up in a costume, and we'll have that happening. I have, this year, I have a keynote speaker who actually is going to be speaking on how Fido makes you be a better person. So it's really, really interesting.
You mean like having an animal in your life?
Having a dog or a cat in your life, how it makes you be a better person. Have you ever met anybody that loves animals that you didn't like?
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, because if an animal doesn't get along with a person, people don't get along with the person.
That is true.
So, and you learn that. I mean, you learn to be nice to the animal, and then you learn to be nice to people.
Well, and people will say that too. Well, my dog doesn't like that person, so I don't know if we should trust them.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now your event this year is in the fall. Is it always going to be in the fall?
I think so. I'm not sure exactly whether it will be or not. We haven't gone that far.
Well, it's great that it is, though, because of the costume contest.
Yeah, we scheduled it a week ahead of Halloween, so we thought that would be kind of a neat thing. There's also going to be a kissing booth. It's a smooch the pooch kissing booth. It's not a smooch me kissing booth.
Well. I'm going to be there. Maybe you can
Well, you know what? You can go in that cage too if you'd like.
Go in the cage, Cammie. There's probably a lot of people that would agree with that.
We even have a jail for bad dogs.
True. So one of the reasons you're doing it is because you're giving proceeds to an organization. You want to talk about that organization?
Yeah, it wasn't. We wanted to have something that we could bless someone with, and there's an organization called Sato Heart Rescue out of Milford, New Hampshire. A lot of my friends actually work with that organization, and so they work with Second Chance out of I think it's Second Chance Veterinary out of Puerto Rico, and they collect second chance dogs that need homes. They make sure that they're medically fit to come to the U.S., that they don't have any problems. They have them examined, they bring them here, they're examined again by a veterinary here, and then they're put out for a second chance home. So Laddie is going to be responsible for several hundreds of dogs be brought here to the U.S., I'm sure, because we're doing wonderfully. We have all sorts of vendors that are interested in this community event. It's really breathtaking to see how the collaboration partners have come together.
Nice.
And they want to be a part of this. And so whether it's the local Tupperware lady or it's one of the manufacturing facilities in town, they all want to be a part of it. And next year I can see that it's going to balloon and balloon and balloon because we've already had requests, can you do it again?
Well, what you're doing is what I call a cause marketing campaign, and I've done a lot of research, so you know a lot about hemp, and I've learned a lot about how cause marketing is just really thank God, a big part of business now. So statistically, 85% of consumers will switch from your competition to you or your company when they know you're on cause. So those manufacturing companies, those small mom and pop places, the entrepreneurs, the network marketers, all of them should know, listen, 50% of the workforce is actually millennials, and millennials don't even want to work for a company if it's not on cause. Because
Exactly.
we all know that you're not working 30 years and getting a watch and retiring anymore. And even if you could, people tend to now want to be on purpose. You know, they want their work and their personal life and their soul's life to just all be intertwined and actually be
You're
on
right.
purpose. So, you know, cause marketing is about people, planet, and profit, because even those who aren't really heart-centered, well, they can benefit too, because it actually increases profit when
Yeah.
when consumers will switch to your company because you're doing it. So I can see why so many of those companies are wanting to be a contribution. And as a matter of fact, JudiFarr.com is on the screen, so they can
Okay,
always
great.
reach out to you, and you know, you can tell them where to send a check.
There you go. Yeah. We also have a website which will be up year round, as well as a Facebook page. So for Friends of Laddie, it's Friends of Laddie, LADDY.com. And they can go there, read about this year's event or next year's or the year after.
Nice.
And then also they can go to Friends of Laddie on Facebook and check it out, see what's going on, how close the event is, when it's going to be held, that type of thing.
Now, you mentioned that Laddie will now be responsible for helping and saving hundreds of his fellow animals.
Exactly.
Do you have any statistics on how much it costs for Sato to rescue a dog and place it?
You know, I wish I did. I don't know that much about the specifics for Sato. I just know that the proceeds from the T-shirt sales and from all of the different things that are going to be going on are going to help immensely, because like any other charity or charitable organization, they rely on donations, and just relying on the same companies year after year after year sometimes doesn't make it. So having this influx of energy and influx of activity has been wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I know this year I'm doing a book signing there, giving the proceeds of the book. And so anyone who is wanting to be that collaboration partner and that contribution, you know, it's a great way to give back and just really make your imprint on the world.
And working with you has been very, very beneficial, because I'm not sure I would have thought of this if it hadn't been for you, bless your heart.
Thank you.
And saying, you know, let's turn some lemons into lemonade.
Yeah.
And how can we go ahead and celebrate Laddie's life and celebrate all of the lives of the dogs and animals that other people have lost over the years? Because just because they're gone doesn't mean they're out of your heart. And we need to remember that there are other people that have been in that same boat, and bless them with our love and affection as well.
Well, you know, and we need other people's perspective. So when I brought my perspective to the table as a how can we monetize kind of a mindset, you know, I was able to help you to create this cause marketing campaign. And with you being so educated in the hemp industry, you know, you're creating business partners for yourself. You're educating, helping people create businesses around hemp. And, you know, I just really honor you for that. Now, in the last few minutes of the show, what are some things that you over the years have used to keep yourself inspired? Because being an entrepreneur is not always easy.
Yeah.
Are there books that you've read? Are there coaches that you've had? Is there a mentor that really stands out for you?
It's funny. I mean, over the years, I've listened to tapes, I've read books. I mean, Brian Tracy. The one that always comes first to my mind is Og Mandino. And he wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World. And it was a biblical story. And they're little tiny books, but that really, really had an impact in my life. It really wasn't talking about network marketing, wasn't talking about money, but it was a parable. And it was very, very impactful. So that's a great place for somebody to start. Jim Rohn. I mean, there are so many great motivational speakers out there that being an entrepreneur is all about self-improvement. I mean, if I can think of one word, an entrepreneur understands the importance of self-improvement.
True that.
Because if we aren't continually working on ourselves, how can we help others? So we have to be strong. We have to be educated. We have to be the light at the end of the tunnel. And so other people can see that light and follow in our footsteps. And as we develop here in the U.S., I think more and more small businesses are going to be opening. We're going away from that big office environment, from the big companies, big corporations, and we're doing a lot more from home.
Mm-hmm.
People are telecommuting, they're doing different things.
Yeah.
And so if they really aren't working on themselves, they aren't going to be able to sustain that for long, because they're going to be looking for somebody around the water cooler or somebody in the coffee room, and they need to get it themselves.
Well, that's why we need to hang out more often, to get around with other like-minded people. The more I know, the more I know I don't know, and the more I know I need to know, and the more I know I need to be around people that are like-minded to support me. And I say all the time, I feel like I'm the captain of my entrepreneur ship, and sometimes being on that ship, you're at home, by yourself, and you got to get out and hang out with other people. So
it's easy to hide behind that computer screen.
It is. It's easy to say, oh, I just need to do some laundry today. Go make a sandwich. So in the last 60 seconds, if you could give entrepreneurs out there one piece of advice, what would it be?
Follow your dream. Find something that you're passionate about and find out how you can make an impact with that passion.
That's beautifully said. And apparently that's truly the energy shift that's happening on the planet. People are following their dream, and they are wanting to have an impact and have an influence. Hence why 50% of the workforce is millennials who don't even want to work for a company unless that company is doing something on cause.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the things that I hadn't mentioned was the company that I work with. We actually have a cause marketing that's built right into our company. We have a 501c3. It's called echoconnection.org, and that's where people can go to collaborate about CBD and its health benefits and how it impacts different things. So that's something that's very important.
Nice. Judi, I had no idea how brilliant you were about hemp. Thank you for educating us, and thank you for watching The Happiness Jungle.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.